What is the purpose of protest in general? When a supposedly democratic society treats its citizens with relative fairness, are protests likely to break out in over 200 cities nationwide and spread to other countries with similar views on personal freedoms and liberty?
No.
The answer is a resounding no. The purpose of protest is to make the members of the society aware of injustices normally targeted at the weakest and poorest members of that society. But that is not enough. It is only when the newly aware citizens of that society vote that real change can occur. And so, here we are. There is a common thread that unites the Occupy protest nationwide. It can be seen on signs at every protest site and heard on the mouths of the majority of the protesters themselves. It is this message that needs to be formalized as the reason for the protests themselves. For if a protest does nothing but gather people together to hold signs, but not have a vision, a mission, and most importantly, a simple message of what it will take to change the injustices they're suffering, then the protest cannot create the change required to right the wrongs we are protesting against. The message that the Occupy protests share is that 99% of the people are disenfranchised due to a concerted and focused attempt by the other 1% to consolidate as much of the total wealth of this country as possible.
Yeah.
They have been able to do this for one reason only. That reason is because when we talk about being 99% of the population, our members do not vote in big enough numbers to elect legislators who would prevent these corporate interests from their mission of monetary domination. In point of fact, this country has seen a more and more entitled citizenry that seems to have the mantra, why should I vote? I can't change anything.
Yeah.
The truth is that if 75% of the 99% we claim to be don't make it to the voting booth, then it doesn't matter that the 1% is so small. For the 1% has a built-in voting bloc that has never been countered by non-Republican citizens. Is it loud enough?
Yeah.
At least 20%, that is 60 million people out of the 300 million people in this country, are self-identified as some form of evangelical Christian. Please note, when I say Christian, it is always evangelical. I bear no ill will to anyone, not even the evangelical. I am talking only about their tenets and their faith and what they will do to make sure that their views are pushed upon other people who may not agree. Every one of these people of voting age can be practically guaranteed not only to vote, but to vote for the Republican candidate in every race on the ballot. The simple reason for this is that the clergy of every evangelical Christian faith hammers home the message that any vote for a non-Republican is a vote for abortion. In the mind of the evangelical, a person is created at conception, therefore a fertilized egg is a person and must be protected. In recent weeks, over 20 states with all Republican legislatures and governors are pushing through legislation called personhood amendments. These bills are designed to change the constitutions of these states to declare a fertilized egg as a person. When they are passed, and they will be due to the previous silence of the 99% and the legislatures that silence has created, most forms of birth control will become illegal, since the most popular ones don't prevent conception, but instead prevent the fertilized egg from implanting in the uterus. The 20% minority of evangelical voters have been the main instrument in getting these fringe hard-right legislators and governors into office, and are trying to force the rest of us to share in what is decidedly a minority ideology. The problem is that this minority has found a way to get more voters to the voting booths than their opposition, most of which would call themselves the 99%. Since this anti-abortion stance is a tenet of their root evangelical faith, they believe that it is God's will to vote for every Republican candidate on every ballot. They are organized, connected, and vote in far greater numbers than any block of voters who would claim inclusion in the 99%. For anyone who has wondered why these political races are so close, you now have your answer. A lack of voting from Democrats and independents, combined with a holy mission to vote for a significant percentage of the population of this country by Republicans, is the reason why right now, in over 30 states, all Republican legislatures, enabled by Republican governors, have spent the months since 2010 passing bill after bill to place redundant restrictions upon restrictions to prevent legal medical procedures and invade the uteruses of every woman in this country, except for the evangelical base that put them into office.
Yay, we're clapping.
I voted the last
won and nothing happened.
Well, until we get the message out, and you'll get the message at the end, it'll stay the same.
It was supposed to.
In addition, these states have passed bill after bill to restrict voting rights of the poor, the elderly, the sick, and every non-Caucasian citizen of this country. 7 states have already enacted laws requiring a passport, driver's license, state ID, or military ID in order to vote. Not to register, but in order to vote at the voting booth. I don't have to expound on the fact that this disproportionately affects the elderly and the poor and represents up to 25% of non-Caucasian would-be voters in any given state. And not just 2 days ago, to my dismay and revulsion, every Republican in the Senate voted no on a $35 billion bill that would restore the jobs of over 400,000 teachers and first responder police and firefighters who have been laid off since the 2010 election.
Is that the Obama jobs bill?
No, it's a piece of it. This bill is to be paid for by one-half of 1% tax on only people making over $1 million a year, and only affected the money they made after the first million. So a person who made $1,100,000 would only be taxed on the $100,000 extra, and that tax would total, any guesses? $500. The status quo in Washington clearly places the need for the richest people in America to become richer, even in amounts they would use to light their cigars, over your children getting an education, and your children's families, your families having the protection of already decimated police and firefighting agencies. This is why we are here. Many people talk of consensus and say that being divisive is not what these protests are about. I say that if we can't divide ourselves, the 99%, from the 1% that just told 500,000 teachers, police, and firefighters to screw, then what the hell are we doing here?
Easy. Slow down. Slow down.
Since Obama became president in 2008, the minority Republicans in the Senate have used the filibuster to require every bill brought before the Senate, including bills they introduced themselves, in order to make them go as slow as possible, to need 60 votes to pass instead of the standard 50 votes normally required to pass a piece of given legislation. This is the reason why 2 days ago, almost 500,000 teachers, police, and firefighters did not get their jobs back. The Republicans in the Senate filibustered the bill to restore their jobs, thus guaranteeing that their minority would be able to prevent its passage. The part about the filibuster that many are not aware of is that the real Senate is not the Senate from the movie Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Mr. Smith goes to Washington.
Sorry, Mr. Smith goes to Washington. In the real Senate, you need only to say you are filibustering, and it is so. There is no legal requirement for the initiator of a filibuster to get up and speak continuously before the Senate to sustain the filibuster like in the movie. The Republicans have distorted the filibuster, and instead of using it when a single senator or very small group of senators had a legitimate issue with a bill, it is now used as the de facto slimy keystone in the right's successful crippling of the Senate as a working body. Since 2008, the Democrats supposedly had control of the Senate, but that is in number only. The true power in the Senate lies with the auto-filibustering minority of Republican senators to stomp the scales of liberty to the right, even though they have been the clear numerical minority. But make no mistake, it is they who control the Senate, and not the so-called majority. This is the status quo. This is why we are here and why similar protests exist in over 200 more American cities and growing. And the message is this: until the 99% of us start voting like the majority we are, and for the Republicans and their guaranteed block of religious and wealthy voters will continue to destroy the American dream for everyone who isn't rich already. They will continue to subvert the intent of laws meant to protect the weak and poor until the middle class is gone or real revolution comes. Neither of these is acceptable. We must get the word out to everyone who votes that they must vote based on the needs of the country and not the needs of ideology. We must ensure that being 99% of something means we can crush the 25 to 35% auto-Republican evangelical voting bloc. More than 90% of this auto-Republican voting bloc have families or are themselves expecting to partake of the very benefits that would be destroyed by the people they have elected and will continue to elect as you imagine voting away your children's safety nets for the sole purpose of making abortion illegal? You will say it can't be so simple. I respond with, ask every pro-life person you meet which party they belong to or which party they vote for. They won't be afraid to tell you. They will be proud of their Republican or Libertarian ideology regardless of any other suffering, even to themselves, this voting creates. The simple message is, tell everyone you know, to tell everyone they know, that if they feel they are in the 99%, they have to vote non-Republican. Well, it is only the better of two evils. Only democratically controlled legislatures can stop the ever-advancing destruction of our way of life. While Democrats may not have the answers you want or that I want, at least they will not actively try to turn us all into slaves of the rich. It will allow us to breathe for a moment while we try to figure out a new path for America and the 99%. While it would feel great to vote for a Ron Paul or a Ralph Nader, in the end it is just a vote taken away from the only group that can stop this right-wing destruction of our society. Then we'll have the chance to save this country from becoming a corporate theocracy. That is a country bankrolled by multinational corporations with the evangelical Christian Bible as the sole source for required moral conduct.
Yes.
They have taken the fruits of the millions of people who have built this country and are using them to take it away from the very descendants of those who made this country great. They must be stopped, and the only way to do it without a campaign of scorched earth and violence is to show them in 2012 that they no longer can be allowed to represent the 1% who pay them for their votes in the houses and senates of every state in the Union, as well as those of the country. If only half the people who identify as being in the 99% voted, there wouldn't be a single Republican in office today. If you are in the 99%, vote against the 1%. Vote against those who would steal our birthright. Vote against the extreme right, the Tea Party, and importantly, or most importantly of all, any candidate with an R next to their name. If you are in the 99%, vote! And repeat this message to everyone you meet. If you're in the 99%, vote! And repeat this message to everyone you meet. If you're in the 99%, vote! And repeat this message to everyone you meet. This is the message of the 99%. We can talk about issues until the cows come home, but if the result doesn't lead to more voters, then we will lose. Spread the word. Ensure that the 99% is represented in 2012. Ensure that the 99% becomes the hedge against the 25 to 35% block of Americans that are taking our liberties away. For while they may not be in the 1%, they are ensuring the future of the 1%.
Whoa!
If you are in the 99%, vote and repeat this message to everyone you meet. Let us thank common sense for the future United States of America.